Good evening, or good afternoon. This is a special meeting of the Kingman City Council held at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, October 1st, 2024. The council may go into executive session for legal counsel in accordance with ARS 38-431.03A3 to discuss any agenda item. The following items may be discussed, considered, and decisions made relating thereto. I will turn some time over to our city clerk first for roll call.
Mayor Watkins.
Present.
Vice Mayor Samily.
Here.
Councilmember Eric.
Present.
Councilmember Savage.
Here.
Councilmember Scott Staley.
Present.
Councilmember Walker is excused this evening. Councilmember Ward.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Great, thank you. Councilor Ward, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I will. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. On our agenda today, we have item executive session 1A, Kingman Crossing Development Agreement and half+8 street improvements. The City Council may go into executive session pursuant to ARS 38-431.01A3 and subsection A4 to discuss the following. 1, Kingman Crossing Development Agreement, and 2, legal issues regarding street payback and half-street plus 8 street improvements. Can we have a motion for the council to go into executive session?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of going into executive session, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Let's do that. from our executive session, our meeting that started at 4 o'clock, and there is no action to be taken on that, and so we are adjourning that meeting. And then welcome everybody here in Chambers today for our 5 o'clock meeting. We like to call that to order. We'll turn some time over to City Clerk Annie Meredith for roll call.
Mayor Watkins.
Present.
Vice Mayor Samley.
Here.
Councilmember Eric.
Present.
Councilmember Savage.
Here.
Councilmember Staley.
Present.
Councilmember Walker is excused this evening. Councilmember Ward.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. I would like to invite those who would like to participate with us in our invocation, which will be given by Reverend Joe E. Tolan Jr. with the Kingman Presbyterian Church. If we could all stand for that, and then after that, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pray with me. Almighty and triune God, we give you thanks and praise for all your mighty works. You are loving and good and gracious. Thank you for creating us and sustaining us day by day. Thank you, you made us in your image to exist in community with other people. We thank you for our city. Thank you for our elected officials, the businesses, the churches, the families, the individuals that make our city the great place that it is. But Lord, we acknowledge that we do not deserve these good gifts. We're not worthy of your favor, for we have sinned against you in thought, word, and deed. We do things that we should not do, and we don't do the things that we should do. We've not loved you with our whole heart, and we have not loved our neighbors as ourselves. We appeal to the Lamb of God, Jesus Christ, who died for our sins. Forgive us and give us hearts of obedience to your holy word. Thank you that Jesus rose from the dead and now reigns as King over heaven and earth. Grant that our city would be known as a righteous city, a city that confesses Jesus as Lord, a city of peace and hope, a city with happy homes, a city that welcomes the stranger, a city that cares for the needy, a city that defends the innocent from evildoers. Lord, thank you for civil government. Those who serve in this capacity do so, as your word says, as your ministers, to be a rewarder of those who do good and the punisher of those who do evil. I pray that these city civil servants would acknowledge this calling and perform it faithfully. Lord, be with our judges, our attorneys, our law enforcement. Grant that they would never neglect or abuse their authority, but they would stand firm for truth and justice. Keep them safe from harm as they serve our community. I pray for this council meeting tonight. Give the council members and the mayor wisdom and guidance as they deliberate on the items before them. May every decision be righteous in your sight for our benefit and for your glory. And we pray this in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and once again, we'd like to welcome everybody here in Chambers or those who might be participating via the internet. The council may go into executive session for legal counsel in accordance with ARS 38-431.03A3 to discuss any agenda item. The following items may be discussed, considered, and decisions made relating thereto. Item number 1A, awards recognition. 1A, most improved commercial property, the Andy Awards, City of Kingman Downtown Streetscape Project. As many of you know, last week, our Chamber of Commerce had their the annual Andy Awards, and our city was awarded and recognized for the good that we have done with the Downtown Streetscape Project. Manager Walsh, do you want to elaborate more?
Thank you, Mayor. Actually, if I may, I'd like to invite Becky Fossen up to explain the award and why the city was selected.
Good evening, everybody. So the awards actually every year we just collect nominations from the public. We have a secret panel of judges. They judge them individually, and then they come back to us at the chamber, we tally them up, and we have the privilege of hosting the dinner to hand out the awards to everybody. So the chamber only hosts the dinner, but super excited that the city was nominated, or actually won, the most improved commercial property, because what has happened to our downtown is just absolutely amazing. 8,000 people showing up on a regular basis at our First Fridays has just turned everything around down there. We see people walking all the time. It's had a huge, huge impact on our entire community. So thank you guys for all the work that you did. And also thanks to all of the people, I always want to say thanks to the nominators especially, because they took the time to nominate somebody in all of the categories. I think everybody that was nominated is a winner, and I'm always thankful I am not a judge. So congratulations, great job.
Thank you, Becky. Appreciate it. Tim, do we want to get a picture?
Mayor, with the executive session, we failed to get the Andy Award actually here, so if it would be all right, we'd like to do that picture at the next meeting. I
We can do that.
apologize.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 1B, the proclamation Fire Prevention Week. Chief, while I get this proclamation ready to read, is there anything you want to elaborate on with this, or we'll talk about that afterwards? Okay, we'll do that. This proclamation, whereas the City of Kingman is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting our community, and fire is a serious public safety concern, both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations where people are at greatest risk from fire. And home fires have killed more than 2,720 people in the United States in 2023, according to the U.S. Fire Administration, USFA, and fire departments in the United States responded to 374,300 home fires. And cooking is the leading cause of home fires in the United States, and fire departments responded to more than 178,600 in 2022. And 2 of every 5 home fires start in the kitchen, with 31% of these fires resulting from unattended cooking. In the City of Kingman, residents, smoke alarms can make a life-saving difference in a home fire, but they have to be working in order to deliver the needed protection. And the City of Kingman first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and education. And City of Kingman residents are responsive to public education measures, are better able to personal steps to increase their safety from fire, especially in their homes. And the 2024 Fire Prevention Week theme, Smoke Alarms Make Them Work for You, reinforces the critical importance of smoke alarms and what's needed to install, test, and maintain them properly. Now therefore I, Ken Watkins, Mayor of the City of Kingman, do hereby proclaim the week of October 6th through the 12th, 2024 as Fire Prevention Week, and urge all citizens of the City of Kingman to check their smoke alarms to make sure they are working properly, test them monthly, and install new batteries annually. And of course, it's witnessed with my signature and with our city clerk's signature, Annie Meredith. Chief, now do you want to elaborate some more on this? This is great though, and of course now it makes me think I need to go home and check my smoke alarms right now. That's the whole idea, right?
So Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, I'm extremely proud of our fire prevention team. We call it community risk reduction. That's what we do every day. We have 4 individuals that are assigned to that division. We're in the schools every day at one of the schools or multiple schools, teaching education programs. Some of the big programs that we have that we offer our community is the smoke alarm program. We'll go out and change batteries if they need help changing batteries. We don't buy the batteries, but we will get on a big ladder and install them for you if you can't reach them. Excuse me. As well as our Knox Box program. We have multiple programs, our car seat safety. We give away car seats daily, it seems like. We have certified technicians that'll teach you how to install it properly. A lot of these numbers you'll see in your annual report this year that I do, but extremely busy in that division with CPR classes and just public education. I would encourage the public to go to our Facebook page and see all the good stuff that we're doing, the alerts that we put out. So I can answer any questions.
We are proud of your department and what you do for our citizens. And when you look at our response times and everything to do with fire prevention and, you know, controlling fires and stuff, our department comes through shiny, very shining. They do a great
Tried to
job.
get the 4 of them here tonight, but they're still on the clock till 6, and so they're out working. So hopefully we'll get a picture later.
Great.
So.
Well, do you want to wait till then, or should we get a picture now with you?
We can do it if you want with the proclamation, and or we
Okay.
can wait and do it with.
City manager, what would you like to do?
Happy to do it however you like, Mayor.
Well, I wish we had more of your department here, definitely.
Me too.
know.
So if you don't mind, if we
do that.
could wait till next meeting, and then we'll get a picture real
We'll
quick.
do that. We'll do that. If you're all right with that, we'll do that.
I'm all right with
And I know this is Fire Prevention Week. I would almost wish we could encourage to say Fire Prevention Month and constantly remind people about this. It's great.
Yeah. Well, again, we are very active on social media. We're active in the schools. We're active out in the public. We try to hit all the events and have some type of educational component to it that we share with the public. So certainly, if the council members have any requests, just make sure you get them to me, and we'll see what we could do.
Well, we will need to set up a photo op if we can't get it done by next meeting.
All right.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, item number 1C, proclamation Kingman Cancer Awareness Month. And this is to be presented to our cancer care unit. And I think some of the ladies are here for that. I'd like to read this proclamation, and we'll come up and we'll present it to you. Proclamation, whereas the mission of the Kingman Cancer Care Unit is to provide financial aid and moral support to the patient and their family. They are an organized group of volunteers who educate the community on available resources to control cancer. And the Kingman Cancer Care Unit is dedicated to informing and reminding the population of facts about cancer, its early detection, its prompt treatment by competent medical methods, and its prevention where practicable. And the Kingman Cancer Care Unit assists patients with transportation, out-of-town room and board, personal equipment, health equipment, and other emergency assistance. Whereas these are just a few of the many ways the Kingman Cancer Care Unit services the needs of Kingman and the vicinity. And now therefore I, Ken Watkins, Mayor of the City of Kingman, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2024 as Kingman Cancer Awareness Month in Kingman, Arizona. Furthermore, because early diagnosis of cancer can make a tremendous difference in the course of one's life, I urge the citizens of Kingman and the vicinity to take advantage of the services offered by the Kingman Cancer Care Unit. And of course, I have signed this and witnessed also by our city clerk. So ladies, once again, congratulations for all that you do. If you'd like to come up, we'd like to present this to you. And council, if you'd like to come up here, please.
I would like to note that we also have a member of the council who is a member of our cancer care unit, Cherish. Yes. Where do we do? Stand right here.
In the front and on the sides of the podium. So don't go behind the podium, in the front and to the sides of the podium, or I'm not gonna be able to see you. Okay, down front, come down front.
Come on,
And
girls.
on the
Come on, girls.
side of the podium, don't stand behind the podium or I
They've
can't
never
see
been
you.
shy before.
I say you ladies in pink should be on both sides of it, so you make us look good.
I can't, Doris, can you step to where you're a little, yep, in the window? Yeah, there you go, Sean's doing it. Okay.
I think so. She'll
Ready?
tell you. No.
All right. Okay, now this one. Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Good seeing you.
Have a great meeting. Huge job. Oh, you do well. Thank you, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Who, me? No. No, I was Once again, ladies, thanks for being here tonight. Item number 2A, presentation, Boys and Girls Club of the Valley presentation. City Manager?
While they're setting that up, Mayor, I'm very excited, and I don't want to steal any thunder, but very excited that we have a Boys and Girls Club looking to open up a new shop here in town. So very exciting time right now, and looking forward to hear some more of these details.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Josh Stein, VP of External Affairs for Boys and Girls Clubs of the Valley. First, I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to present tonight. We're very excited about opening a Boys and Girls Club here in Kingman. I also have with me my colleagues, Bianca Lopez, our Director of External Affairs, and Liz Byrne, our VP of Regional Impact, with me tonight. I'm going to give a little update or overview of Boys and Girls of the Valley, then Liz is going to talk more about our plans here in Kingman. Can I get this to move? Oh, the mouse, sorry. So Boys and Girls of the Valley, we're the leading provider of after-school programming here in the state of Arizona. We serve over 12,000 youth a year, ages 16 to 18 years old, at 32 different clubhouses. Well, this will be the 32nd clubhouse throughout the valley and in the Phoenix metro area and the city of Yuma as well. We've been around for 75 years, so we're not a new organization. We have a long history. We follow our Boys and Girls Club of America programming. Our mission is to enable all young people, especially those who need us most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible members of the community. Our vision is to be the leading out-of-school time programming provider here in the state and be a leading advocate for Boys and Girls Clubs at the local level and for all youth at the local level and at the state level. Our mission is to continue expanding throughout the state to reach all communities that are in need of a Boys and Girls Club and are wanting to open one. We know that in the state of Arizona, for every one child in an after-school program, there's 3 more that would enter one if they had access. Our formula for impact, as I mentioned, comes from Boys and Girls Club of America. It's reaching all youth who need us most with an outcome-driven club experience. That means bringing high-yield programs that meet the needs of the community, targeted programs, whether it's around health and wellness, safety, prevention programs, sports, and then also having those key positive adults in the building working with them. And then the priority outcomes we get from those are academic success, good character and leadership, healthy lifestyles, and career and workforce readiness. This is a snapshot of our locations throughout the valley and Yuma. Pretty soon we'll be adding Kingman to this map. This map also includes our administrative office, our AZ Youth Force, which is a workforce center we have for teens, and also our dental clinic that we have in the valley for youth. One of the programs I mentioned that we're excited to bring to the Kingman area community is our AZ Youth Force program. It's a targeted program for teens 16 to 19 years old, where we do essential job training. They go through 30 hours of essential skill building around critical thinking, financial literacy, conflict resolution, public speaking, all with preparing them for a career in the future. After they complete those 30 hours, they're placed in paid internships within the community with companies. We work with companies such as Bank of America, Swire Coca-Cola, Footprint Center downtown in Phoenix, Jiffy Lube, Haskins Electricity, where these kids get real-world work experience as high schoolers and paid, because we know a lot of them need to actually earn money to help support themselves and their families, with the intent of helping them create a career path after high school, whether it's right into a 2-year school, trade school, right into the workforce, 4-year school, helping them identify what's needed for them, while also building that social network they need to be successful as they graduate. Next is a program we call our Whole Child Approach. We do this in partnership with Terrace Behavioral Health, where we embed a healthcare professional, which we call a wellness coach, in our clubs. Their job is to help create that environment that's trauma-informed within the club, and all of our staff are trained on that, and to help create a safe environment for kids that maybe do need additional support services outside of the club for mental health and behavioral health, that we can help address that with them and their family. But it's really targeted for all of our kids in the club, because we know now, especially after COVID, there's a lot of trauma, especially on our younger kids who spend a lot of time at home, and helping them address that. And not all of them need, a licensed therapist, but just that trauma-informed environment to attend. Third is food. We're actually the second largest provider of hot meals to youth in the state. As an organization, we provided over 786,000 meals last year. That's all free of charge to kids. That's a snack and a dinner at night, if it's needed, that it's available for our youth. So we're excited to be working with the Kingman School District here to actually make sure that's possible at our facility as well when we open. Next, just give you a little understanding of our governance structure as a Boys and Girls Club. We have a corporate board of directors of about 50 board members that's based in the valley there, and that's where our governance structure is provided. We also have a charter school called Mesa Arts Academy there that has its own board of directors separately. Then we have our foundation board, because as a Boys and Girls Club, we do have a foundation. We have an executive committee to our board. Some of our primary roles on that is our safety committee, which is mandated by Boys and Girls Clubs of America, and that's made up of law enforcement professionals and other safety experts that sit on that committee as well. And then we have what we call Connect Board, which is more of a young professionals board. Young professionals are interested in getting in and supporting the organization. And then it breaks down to our finance, board development, and audit board. What we will have here in Kingman is what we call a regional council. And Liz will talk about that more as we move forward, of what that will look like here. So Liz, I don't know if you want to come up and talk about the club.
Hello, as Josh mentioned, my name is Liz, and I am the Vice President of Regional Impact for Boys and Girls Clubs of the Valley, and my role is to provide direct support to the club here in Kingman. So I'll be working directly with the team. Some high-level just bullets that are very exciting. You might recognize the building. That's the building we're going to be going into. It's right there off Airway Avenue and Burbank. We do have a 15-year lease with the Kingman Regional Medical Center for that facility. Once it's fully constructed and all the way put together, it's going to be roughly 46,000 square feet, which is pretty big for a Boys and Girls Club even. But we are doing this in wings. So right now we're working on the first 2 wings. You guys will see a picture of it shortly. And we're going to continue to build out as we fill that club. Our projected opening date will be mid-December. We will definitely be doing some holiday events with the youth in the community mid-December, but our hope is that we can also open our program for the youth and teens in the community by then. It's going to be dependent on some construction. Hours of operation, Monday through Thursday will be open 2:30 to 7. Friday will be open 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. for the schools that are out on Friday. We will be serving both Kingman Unified School District as well as the charter school, so we'll be catering to both calendars to make sure that we facilitate programming for those kids. Free snack and dinner, as Josh mentioned, and that is our website if you would like to check it out. So here's some exciting stuff. This is the floor plan of our first wing. So I won't go into too much detail, but basically there is a secured opening so we can have safe passage for our members being picked up by all the right people. There's going to be some general programming area where our members can do their homework and kind of cool down if they need it. We have a games room. We've got a computer lab that we're working on some grants to get possibly a maker space put in and some 3D printers and some super fancy technology, an art room, and then that big space in the back is going to be kind of an activity center. So that's just the first wing. Now we also are working on some office space right next door where we're hoping to implement some teen-specific space for our middle and high school kids that might be attending. So it's just some staffing updates. So I'm Liz, I'm the VP of Regional Impact. That is my email if you would like to ever contact me. We have hired our senior branch director. I'm very excited. She's going to be amazing. The community is going to love her. Her name is Carly Urquhart. Her email is also available should you want to reach out to her. We are in the process of hiring some additional staff members. So program director, the role of that position is basically the member club experience. So the actual program that happens inside the club, that position supervises all of our part-time staff. The branch admin coordinator, which basically meets and greets everybody, checks the kids in, checks them out, and is the kind of the face of the club. We have offered that position to a lovely lady in the community that I think is going to be a great fit. And then we will be hiring 4 to 5 more, potentially more, depending on the need if we do fill out that club. And then, as Josh mentioned, we do have a regional community council, and I want to kind of explain what that is. So our local it's going to be a local advisory council of just kind of some local stakeholders in the community. It is non-governance, so the council will have a non-voting liaison to our BGCA board of directors. And really the role is going to be local fundraising and advocacy. We want to hear from these people what we really need to be doing to properly serve the community of Kingman. And we did want to share a couple of our members. So Crystal Burge is involved. She is going to be on our council. Jim Baker, Carrie Jo Hill, and Tom Price, and they've all been very, very involved and very supportive, and we're really appreciative of that. And the last thing is any member of the local community or council is eligible to seek nomination to the BGCAZ Board of Directors, so should that be something they want to do, they absolutely can. And that's the end of our formal presentation. We wanted to give you guys the opportunity to ask questions, should you have any.
Thanks, Liz. Council, any questions for Liz, Josh, or Bianca?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes, Councilor Savage.
I belong to a fraternal organization that really cares about children and seniors. We had a Boys and Girls Club up here a few years ago. Was that associated with you guys, or is this a franchise? How? And I got more questions.
Yeah, so first, there was historically a Boys and Girls Club here, but they determined to give their charter away. At the time, there's some additional safety, financial, like all the things you have to do to be a charter member of Boys and Girls Club of America. And at that point, from my understanding, they determined they did not want to be associated. They could do it without falling underneath that charter.
Okay. Second question is, how will you guys be funded?
Historically, most of our funding is corporate philanthropy, individual philanthropy, and some government funding. I'd say the last couple of years, there's been more government funding just because of ARPA dollars, ESSER dollars coming through the school districts and state level. But traditionally, it's mostly around corporate and individual philanthropy. And that includes grants as well in that.
And lastly, you guys picked a great location.
Yeah, we're excited about it.
And the current members of your board are great people, so I'm happy with that. I would like a business card before you guys leave.
Yeah, we have those, and I actually have some of our last annual report from 22-23.
I just need a business card.
Okay,
All right,
if you want to
thank
see
you.
it, that's an order.
Thanks, Josh. Any other questions? Yes, Counselor.
I want to thank you. This is going to be wonderful for our community. We've really missed having an after-school program. My question for you is what your summer programs might look like, and do those include meals as well?
Yeah, so traditionally our summer program runs whenever the school district gets out, so when it starts again. We're open 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Oh, wow.
Those are traditionally, the fee structure is a little different. There's usually weekly or bi-weekly fees. But yes, we will be open during the summer from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. We did mention earlier about our fee structure for youth, 5 to 12. It's $30 annual membership fee, then $40 a month, but we do have a sliding fee scale and financial assistance if needed. For teenagers, 13 to 18, it's a $30 membership fee, and that's it, because we understand at that age, a lot of time it's on them to go, and we don't want any barriers for them to actually not be able to attend.
That's great. Thank you. Thanks again.
Okay. Yes, Counselor.
That is awesome. I went through my grade school years going through Boys and Girls Club here in Kingman, actually, and sports were a huge part for us. So we, a team of misfits playing basketball. What are your plans? I know you guys have different wings still planned. Are you guys planning on basketball in-house, or are you guys planning on using Centennial Park or working with the schools and their facilities?
Yeah, I mean, eventually we'd love to have a basketball court in that facility. It's large enough. Again, a lot of that depends on how quick we fill up and then fundraising to actually build that out. We do offer sports traditionally. We'd love to offer sports here, but we also want to do assessment in the community to see what's needed. You know, we don't want to duplicate services either and come in if there's someone running something really well, try to take it away from them or take it over. So we want to do an assessment of, again, I think that's us talking to parents and talking to the community is about what sports are needed. Where could we step in and bring sports to the table?
I love the flexibility. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Also, you talked about summer already, but like, for example, this week, our school district, one of the school districts is out on fall break for 2 weeks. So likewise, you would have something planned
7 a.m.
for
to
that.
6 p.m. So
Yeah.
we follow their schedule. So traditionally, unless it's a major holiday where we're closed as well,
Right.
we're open in fall breaks, spring breaks from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Early release days, if they have parent-teacher conferences and they get out early, we open early. The only time that we shut down, we do shut down for a window between Christmas and New Year's. And that's really to give our staff a break too, to spend time with their families. Other than that, traditionally, if the school is closed, we're open. Except weekends, it's Monday through Friday, so.
Well, I know during the summer when I was growing up in Phoenix, there wasn't a Boys and Girls Club close, but there was a YMCA close.
Yep.
Similar organization that helped, keep youth off the street, keep them safe, and keep them engaged. And likewise, this is a great opportunity for our youth here in Kingman. So we appreciate you being part of this and opening up.
No, thank you. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out. Like I said, we're going to try to get open as fast as we can, but I think we put in a permit yesterday for some demolition to get going, so.
I had one more quick question.
Yep.
Do you have an idea of how many students or kids you're expecting, and what?
So right now, based on the one wing we're in, which is about 7,500 square foot, the most we looked at from capacity-wise at a time is about 130 in the building. But since we are a drop-in program, not every kid comes every day, the enrollment will be higher than that. But the max we can have within that space, that's what we found, it was 130. Now, once we have the other office side where the office is, we open that for teens, we can serve some more. We think we'll get there fast. We've already talked with both the school district and the charter school. School district will be busing to the club, and then we'll be walking kids from the charter school as well. So we don't think it will take much time, but you never know. So, and again, with our staff, we're hiring staff on board now. They, like I said, they're in place. We anticipate over the next 2 months having 2 months, having them out in the community, really engaging with the community, being part of the community, trying to build relationships and getting the word out to families.
Great. Any other questions?
I just had a comment, Mayor.
Yes, Vice Mayor.
I just wanted to thank you for investing in Kingman and welcome.
No, thank you. I said one of the selling points for us, obviously, we want to work with kids, we want to serve more kids, but the community here, the support we've gotten across the board, hands down, has been the best, I've seen anywhere. Just, I would say that the love and support that the community has to invest in your youth, no matter what's the school, community members, everyone we talk to has really been excited and supportive. So we really want to come here and do it the right way.
Well, I think that this is going to fill that gap where we have children that need a place to go so their parents can work, so employers can have full staffing. So, I mean, it's just a domino effect that has really impacted our community. So I really appreciate that, and feel free to tell everyone down in the valley how friendly we are up here.
No, we're excited. And that's one thing we hear. 93% of our parents in our last economic impact study said the ability for them to send their kids to the club allowed them to retain employment or to get education. So, it's important.
Well, Josh, Liz, and Bianca, thank you again for coming
Thank
up
you.
here with this presentation, and of course, be safe returning to Phoenix.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Item number 3, call to the public, comments from the public. Those wishing to address the council should fill out request forms in advance. Comments from the public will be restricted to items not on the agenda, with the exception of those on the consent agenda. There will be no comments allowed that advertise for a particular person or group. Comments should be limited to no longer than 3 minutes. The council may not respond to speakers during the call to the public. The council may direct the city manager to study the matter or request that the matter be placed on a future agenda. Clerk Meredith?
Mayor, we do not have anybody signed up for call to the public this evening.
Okay, great, thank you. Item number 4, consent agenda. All matters listed here are considered to be routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. Councilors? Items A through E, is there anything that needs to be pulled?
Mayor,
Yes, Vice Mayor.
I'd like to pull item B, please.
Item B, okay, item B will be pulled for discussion. Anything else? Okay, hearing none, can we have a motion then approving items A, C, D, and E on our consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Well,
Thank you.
second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Vice Mayor, item B. Oh, let me read it. Sorry, before I turn time over to you. Approval of dispatch service contract. A contract with Priority Ambulance Yavapai LLC to have Kingman 911 Dispatch Center provide emergency and non-emergency call receiving, radio communications, and dispatch services. Priority Ambulance agrees to provide Kingman 911 Dispatch Center with operational procedures necessary to assure effective call taking, and dispatch services. Staff recommends approval. Okay, Vice Mayor.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. I pulled this item because I was contacted by a member of the public that wished to speak on this item. So, I don't know, do we have anyone signed up?
We have one, Mr. John Valentine.
I'll have some questions.
I'm
After.
sure we will.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. You kind of messed up my dialogue because I was going to go first, but now you pulled it, so I had to pivot my little speech here so it'll work. But thank you, Mayor and Council, City Manager. I come to you today. My name is John Valentine, the Regional Director for River Medical, and I have been so for the last 16 years. I've worked in both Mojave and La Paz County as a paramedic for the last almost 40 years. So I come to you with a great bit of knowledge. I come to you this evening to strongly have you consider tabling or not approving this agreement. With that being said, I will also bring to your attention that Priority Ambulance is currently in a lengthy process that has not been vetted by the Department of Health Services. This process could take months or even years to be vetted. So I encourage the mayor and the city council to take a step back from signing this contract, waiting until such legal processes have taken place and the Priority Ambulance has been vetted by the Department of Health Services, both from a financial point as well as their ability to provide service to both Mojave and La Paz County. Mayor and council, I ask you to stand beside River Medical as they have stood in this community since 1990 providing service. and I'm willing to answer any questions.
Thank you, John. Any questions for Mr. Valentine?
I
Vice
will have
Mayor?
some questions for you, but I first would like to ask Chief Yeager to come up.
Chief Yeager. You know you're going to be a popular guy tonight.
What's that?
You're going to be a popular guy.
It's okay.
Okay.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, thank you. I'm here tonight on behalf of the Kingman 911 Center. So just a little bit of background, as you guys know, that is an enterprise fund, it funds itself. So my job as the fire chief, as the director over 911, is to always look at alternative funding and a way for us to cut costs. And then always provide a better service to our citizens. So I was approached by Priority Ambulance requesting an IGA for dispatch services. So I put it together and I bring it to you for your decision to allow them into our center or not. Currently, we provide dispatch IGAs through Kingman Police Department. They're our biggest customer. With Kingman Fire, second, Northern Arizona Fire District, Golden Valley Fire District, Pinyon Pines Fire District, Pine Lake Fire District, and Lake Mojave Ranchos. So with this, we also look at, with the IGA, how it's going to affect our center, whether it comes to staffing, personnel, workload. We're more than capable to handle this additional request. Our users they're a pay-per-call. That's how they get billed, pay-per-call. So that explains why Kingman's the number one, because the amount of calls they run when they do that. I do want to make it just very clear up front that this will not go into effect until if or when Priority Ambulance receives their CON to be able to do business within the city limits. So again, what this IGA will allow me to do is start working on the infrastructure piece of it, policies, procedures, so I'm not slammed at the last minute to do that. It allows me to move forward with them. Again, it won't go into effect until they are awarded, if and when they are awarded their CON. If that doesn't happen, this agreement goes away.
Chief,
So
for
I just
the
want to be
public
very
knowl-
clear on that.
I'm sorry, for the public knowledge, could you explain what CON is?
Certificate of necessity, which
Okay.
is through the Department of Health Services, which allows the ambulance company to work in their zones or their areas.
Mayor?
Yes, Vice Mayor.
So on the list, when you listed your IGAs, we don't have River Medical listed as an IGA. Can you tell me what is the process for them currently? I mean,
They have their own dispatch center that they use. They do encompass, obviously, a lot larger area than we dispatch for. The Havasu region, Parker, he could probably explain further, but they go down to, I believe, Parker area, Quartzsite. We don't have the capability, so we don't dispatch that area. So as far as whatever their bid, I can't speak for them on why they're not part of Kingman 911, other than they have their own dispatch center. So the process now, when we receive the call is transferred to them. If it involves a fire agency, then that agency we dispatch out. If it also involves the ambulance, then they are given that call. That transfer happens in the system, in the computer system. It's quick, it's not, there's no time delays. I mean, it happens without us even knowing it, once the dispatcher pushes the button.
Okay, so in reading the backup and the Exhibit A to the contract, there is a capital contribution of $169,706 that Priority would inject into
Our center.
our center or our enterprise fund. So on one hand, we're trying to run a business, and on the other hand, we're trying to provide the best service in as many ways as we can to our citizens, because ultimately that's the goal, right, is patient care, right?
Correct.
So do you have an idea of when we transfer a call to AMR or River Medical, is there a cost to our dispatch center to transfer that call?
There is. So there's a cost per call. Every call that comes into our center has a cost associated with it. Now, who gets that cost, it's up to whose district or city it's in. So an example, if it's in Golden Valley, if that's where the 911 call came from, they're billed that call, the $30.47. That's the cost they get charged for that call. You're charged that no matter what. If it's in the city of Kingman, I pay that. PD and fire, we get billed just like these agencies. We pay our fee to be part of the dispatch center, and it costs me, every 911 call in the city costs me $30.47.
Okay.
So that's how we bill. That's how it functions, and we run the center
Okay.
based off of that.
And do you have a time frame, or have you been in communication with Priority? Do you know what their expectation for getting their CON?
The only information that I was able to obtain today, they were supposed to have October 1st conversation or a reply. That didn't happen because they had to provide more information. There's some dates that are not in concrete, but they're potentially now it's the end of November.
Okay.
Before they'll find anything out on the hearing, so.
Okay. And then my final question,
But again, that could be extended again and again, and as
Sure.
Mr. Valentine said, it could be 2 months or it could be 2 years before we come to resolution. Again, this is just giving me the ability to do the stuff that I need to do to be prepared, so I'm not scrambling at the last minute.
right, so we're just being proactive.
And again, it won't go into effect until they get that, and if they don't get that, then this is a mute discussion.
Okay. I think that, response times. Are you able, because River Medical does not subscribe or go through our 911 dispatch, are you able to track response times and get the data that you need so that we can kind of assess?
Not like we track. The only times I can really track are the call, when we transfer the call, and then a rough tracking when they arrive on scene.
Okay.
Again, we just don't, they're not in our system, so we don't have that ability to do that.
Okay, all right, thank you. That's all I had for you, Chief. Mr. Valentine, I have some questions, do you have questions for Chief?
Okay, yes, Counselor?
Yes. Jack, one of our forums that we had with all the staff and the managers, there was a concern of the way the ambulances were distributed. You said, I believe, we needed 4 in the city?
Yeah, I don't, again, that's just a model. I don't know what their model is, what they're running. Again, I have zero control over that, or the city.
Well, I know it was a concern of yours,
It's just a concern.
It was definitely a concern. And we also, I believe, approved to get our own city ambulance. How's that coming?
It's actually parked right next door. We just picked it
got
up
it.
last week. We're outfitting it. But again, we don't have a CON. It's there for the critical patients, like I told you before.
Right. Which is a good thing.
When they don't have an ambulance available, we can help. That's why it's there. So we're anticipating that being put into service, I would say probably in the next couple months.
Cool.
We're still
Thank you,
waiting
Jack.
on some equipment.
Mayor, I have some questions
Yes,
too for
yes,
Jack.
Counselor?
Hey, Chief. Does having another provider trigger any special scenarios since it introduces competition? Can we negotiate rates?
I am not, the CON is managed by the state. It's not managed by us. So, I mean, I would have to do some research to answer those kind of questions. I know I don't have anything to do with how they're managed. That's managed by the state. That's who they deal with their CON. As far as competition, again, that's 2 businesses competing with each other. I don't know what that model looks like. They could probably answer that, as far as ultimately what that looks like.
And what kind of differences will we be able to see with one service going through our dispatch and one having their own dispatch? The reason I'm asking is the contract mentions that they would need to get a radio frequency license,
Mhm.
correct? And at one of our previous council meetings, I kind of found out that our radio system here is really outdated. And it kind of brought concern to me that they're responsible for maintaining their communication equipment. What happens if there's a failure?
So a couple things here to clarify. Our 911 center is not out to date. Our 911 center is state-of-the-art, the best out there. We've worked really hard to put that system in place. The infrastructure is it's the repeaters that are up on the Wallapies. It's the repeaters that are out of the center are the things that we're addressing. Chief Cooper and myself actually are attending a meeting, I think, in 2 weeks to discuss radio infrastructure. So we have things in the works, but as far as the center itself, that system is state-of-the-art, really can't get much better. I hate to say that because budget time's coming up. So I may be back in front of you. No, we're doing really well. Our dispatch center, and some of you have toured it, we're always planning ahead for growth, everything that we're
one of the
doing
best
with
in the
systems
state,
and
right?
consoles. Yeah.
I remember when
Yeah.
I got the tour, it was all certified. But no, the only thing that was the radio frequency license, and then they're responsible for maintaining their equipment. What happens if there's a failure?
Well, the failure will be on their equipment in the field, just like it is, if a radio in my fire truck fails, that's my responsibility, that's not dispatches.
Okay.
And so just like our handheld radios, those are provided by the agencies that are part of the program. Those aren't provided by dispatch. It's up to you to be able to receive the communications
And
we
it's
send out.
independent from your systems, basically?
Correct.
Okay, that's
Correct.
perfect.
It all ties in through the system, but it's not something we maintain.
Because of them, our system won't go down?
No,
Okay.
no, not at all. If anything, they'll quit working, but ours will still keep working.
Thank you.
And we have redundant systems in place to make sure that ours doesn't go down.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Masaley.
Chief, I wanted to clarify, and then I have a question after that. As you were explaining how these calls come in, you're saying that if there is a 911 call in the city of Kingman, you have to pay for that, or the police have to pay for that. So if a call comes in that requires a response from an ambulance, if it's River Medical, we are paying that. Whereas this company is
Correct.
going to pay for their own calls.
Because they're going to be a user within our center, absolutely. They will be billed for that call.
So what do we need to do to get River Medical to start paying for the calls that they're getting? Because it seems like if we're having this other company pay $30 per call, it isn't right that they're getting it for free, and we're paying that when we are already covering the cost of this call center that's state-of-the-art, it's won awards, it's brilliantly ran, and they're getting that for free.
I can certainly have discussions with them. I can get with Carl to see how to proceed with those discussions and what that looks like. Again, I can't tell you tonight how it'll be accomplished, but certainly working with Carl and his staff, we could.
Manager Walsh,
We
I think
could
that's something that
certainly-
we'd like to know more about in our annual retreat.
Absolutely. And if I may, just a bit of a clarification on it. As Chief mentioned, River Medical does have their own dispatch center. So Priority is proposing to utilize our folks in our dispatch center. So there is a little bit of a difference on operations with that.
So
I do
there-
understand
okay,
that.
perfect.
It's just that we're picking up the tab when a call comes from Kingman, whereas they would pick up the tab.
Well, so if I
If we
could,
approve
just
this.
so we're clear though, that's for dispatch services. So that's, I would pay that $30 a call if a medical call come in today. When we're transferring that call to them, the system's doing it, we're not dispatching, we're done at that point. So really, even though I still gotta pay for it, the option, there's only two agencies that don't respond on what we call alpha calls, which are the stub finger, the non-urgent calls. And that's ourself and Northern Arizona Fire District. All the other fire districts opted to respond to everything. And so they're responding, even though they paid the fee, they're responding. We opted out of that. So the way we kind of look at it is it's cheaper for me to pay the $30 than it is to send out a crew of 4 and the time that it takes to do that for a call that we really don't need to be at, because it keeps them in service. So, again, I would say on, and I'm
Chief,
trying to defend John a
I
little
understand,
bit,
I understand. It was just a question.
I can certainly
you
get
know
ready
where I'm
for the
coming from,
workshop and
Okay.
have a
And
discussion
Councilwoman
with you.
Staley, to your point, I believe there is a fee being associated with just being a 911 center. There is a fee that we pay for those
Yeah.
calls, correct? So there is, to your point, there is a fee that the city is covering.
Yes.
I will put together a full breakdown of our fees that we charge and what we incur.
Okay.
So I'll have that for you at the workshop.
Okay. But this company is interested in using our 911 call center and paying for those calls that come in.
Yeah, because they'll be part of our center, so
Yes.
now they get that call. It goes to
Wonderful.
them, but,
I understand.
yeah, so.
I also wanted to ask you, how much did the city just pay for that ambulance that we bought?
So we paid, you put me on the spot, just $297,000, but that was a $425,000 unit that we were able to buy as a demo. And so we had a pretty significant savings, as well as we were able to get it in 6 weeks and not have to wait 2 years. So we did well on that as far as shopping.
We did, and I know the community really appreciates you stepping up and getting that ambulance so that we could cover in times of need. So really, again, thank you for that. That's all my questioning.
Thank you, Counselor Saley. Any other questions from council?
I just had
Chief?
one more question
Yes.
for Chief, in looking at my notes. So how will these calls between these two companies, should we approve this IGA and they get their CON, tell me what that looks like?
So dispatching procedures for multiple CONs, we're waiting on the CON ruling, for one. This will give us some guidance on how to proceed. There's a lot of assumptions out there as far as, I just don't know what the area they're trying to take or work, overlap. I don't know what that is. Again, is it, we'll hopefully get some guidance from the CON. Is it 50% of the workload? All of that. If they do, there's ways to do it, as far as what we call a 926 schedule, a tow truck rotating schedule. It certainly has to be fair for both parties, because they both have a share, they're both stakeholders, and so we just have to, hopefully we'll get some guidance from the state on how that is working. There are other agencies doing it now. I say agencies, dispatch centers that we're having those conversations with, and then as well, I'm working with the city attorney team to make sure we do it the right way.
I'm just looking at how this is going to help the community. So if we need an ambulance and dispatch goes out to AMR, River Medical, and they say they're so far away, but then priority is here closer. I'm just trying to let the community know that, this is in support of getting the best care possible.
And that's ultimately the goal. We want the ambulance on scene as quick as we can get them there, just like we want fire trucks on scene as quick as we can get them there. We're a ways away, and that's why I'm asking for this process to get started, so I can start putting together the policies, procedures, doing all that.
But
And
are you
so-
currently waiting? I mean, is there currently a wait time, a long wait time for ambulances to
It
come?
varies, just
Okay.
like in my last report to you, it just varies. That's,
Okay.
there are days that, they accomplish what they have to, and there are days, even for us, that we're just busy. And there's just not enough help out there. And so certainly having additional units on our aspect of it helps, because we'd have more units, in the area. And so it is a benefit to the community.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Chief Yeager. Appreciate it. And Mr. Valentine, Vice Mayor, did you have a question? Mr.
I do have some questions.
Mayor, Council.
So it's come up that we don't have an IGA with you for our dispatch center. Can you explain that? And the second part of my question is the sharing of data. So in order for chief to assess response times and things like that, it's my understanding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that we we're not privy to that data. So it's a two-part question.
So first question, before this communication center was ever what it was today, River Medical in the last 3 decades has spent millions of dollars creating their own comm center that resides in Lake Havasu City. It has gone through 3 iterations of CADs, which are, to the chief, very expensive to do. You've all been through the CAD process of redoing a CAD. Also, to the chief's point, we've redone our towers on several peaks, not only in Kingman, Parker, Cunningham Peak, and Quartzside. We cover 9,400 square miles of territory, and there was no framework currently out there that could cover all that area. And there's not one today. Kingman Dispatch Center cannot cover our entire service area. So we had to go through the time, the trouble, the money to put in our own communication center. So for us to be in an IGA with Kingman would service Kingman and the Kingman units and maybe a little bit of Golden Valley, but it wouldn't do anything down the interstate or in Havasu or in Parker or in Bullhead City where we provide service. So that's the reason we've never entered into an IGA with Kingman. The center has come a long way in the last 10 years. We realize that. It just doesn't serve the needs of also dispatching our interfacility or non-emergent market. Those calls are very cumbersome. They take a lot of time. There's vetting processes in it. And most 911 centers won't even take that segment of our work on. So that's the reason we've never reached out for an IGA with Kingman. Second question. We did work with the chief on their credentialing process and allowing the chief to see our response times. If this council or the chief wants to see response times within the city of Kingman, we can give you those. Our CON, like I stated, is 9,400 square miles. We have a state obligation to do response times to that CON. We don't have broken down community by community response times. We do track those and can provide those if the city wants them.
Okay. I think that's all I have at this time. I mean, you can clearly understand, we're just trying to get the best service for patients in our area with the least amount of fatalities and,
Sure.
you know, I mean, we need to be able to dispatch and have response in a timely manner.
And we've been providing that for decades in this area. And our people live here, work here. Chuck Watkins has been in this area for 56 years. We've constantly provided service here. We appreciate being here. We're involved in this community. We have been. The problem you have, in the 1980s, the department or the state went out for a public election of all the electors, and they provided a CON process. And that CON process was set to build regulated monopolies so a company could work in a geographic area, make enough money to reinvest in that area, and provide service where service couldn't be rendered. Like, there's not an ambulance company sitting in Yucca, Arizona. There isn't 15 ambulances in Kingman, Arizona. There's dollar amounts that are tied to those, and it's very expensive to provide fire and police and EMS from the ambulance standpoint. So when you add competition in that, you degrade the system. There's only so many paramedics in Kingman, Arizona. There's only so many EMTs in Kingman, Arizona. We've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars recruiting and doing training through Mojave Community College to get paramedics. And when you bring another company in, all they do is pull from what's existing, and they degrade or tone down the ability for one company to do better than another.
I'm going to interrupt really quickly.
Sorry.
We need to just stick
Okay.
to what's on the agenda.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you.
Fair enough.
That's all I have. Thank you, Mr.
I have
Valentine.
one quick question.
Yes, Counselor.
How many ambulances are there in this 9,400 square miles?
Well, we currently have 40, but we operate 18 to 20 EMS ambulances and then one at the Arizona Proving Grounds. There's between 5 and 6 in Kingman, and then I believe 2 in Golden Valley, and we're opening back up our Bullhead operation.
And do you have a number what is our response time in Kingman? Average?
So it varies. Usually it's by fractiles, so like so many calls within a certain percent, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes. I don't have it off the top of my head because I'd be lying if I did. So I don't want to do that for you. I have no problem pulling those response times.
Tim, can we get those numbers just for our meeting, just so we have them, so we know? Thank you.
And then you had a question about whether you could have different rates.
Yeah, no, so with competition, I mean, it invites negotiated rates.
So the state of Arizona regulates our rates. The only person we can negotiate rates with is with hospitals that have hospital-responsible transports, and that rate is a 30% reduction of what we call usual and customary expenses. So the rates are what the rates are.
Yeah, and I learned about CONs a lot
Yeah.
recently, so thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you, Mr. Valentine.
Thank you, Council. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mayor, any further discussion on approving item 4B, approval of dispatch service contract? Okay, Vice Mayor, do you want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the dispatch service contract.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Motion carries. Item number 5 under old business, 5A, street payback program. Staff made a presentation at the August 20th council meeting regarding a street payback program. Council requested additional research regarding legal aspects of this issue, and council direction is requested. And Jack from our street department. Welcome, Jack.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. Just a quick update on the street payback. As was discussed in the last meeting, there were some legal items that were being looked into. Carl and his team have been working on those. So we do have a draft program that probably would look at being a voluntary side. The second part that we had talked about was the 50+8 issue, where half the road gets developed and then the other half doesn't fall under those same guidelines. So we actually have a draft of that I'll get out to Carl and everybody that we had worked on prior. Just been backing out some other language, some things that we had added to that may have encumbered or included the payback pieces. We'll get that out to the team throughout the staff and get that looked at. And then once that's ready to go, we'll bring that back to council for approval through a resolution. The hope at this point, not to stick my foot in my mouth, probably be the last meeting in November or early December that we can have that back to you.
Okay, any questions for Jack? Thank you, Jack. I think no action is required on this one, so we're waiting to hear more from you.
Great. Thank you, guys. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Jack. Appreciate it. Item 6, new business, 6A, Mojave County Community Services Department fee waiver request. The Mojave County Homeless Continuum of Care, MCCOC, is planning a Fresh Start Resources and Hiring event and would like to hold the event at Metcalf Park, utilizing the upper stage, Ramada, the lower grass Ramada, and terraced areas on Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. The Fresh Start event will provide a comprehensive one-stop resource hub for low-income, homeless individuals, or people re-entering the workforce and community. MCCOC is requesting the park reservations fee of $177 be waived for this event. Staff recommends approval. Manager Walsh.
Thank you, Mayor. We've got Jamie Bernier here with Mojave Community Services to explain a little bit more about the program and what they're looking to accomplish there.
Ladies, welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, Manager Walsh. Thank you for your time. We are here from the Community Services Department. I'm the housing manager for the Mojave County Housing Authority. I have Kelly Williams here. She's our coordinator for our special needs program, and we are the facilitators of the Fresh Start events. Kelly's one of the pioneers from last October in Kingman, and also the one we held in Bullhead City in April. And if you guys have any questions, need statistics or anything, we're here to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, thank you. Council, any questions for these ladies? Pretty straightforward with what they have going on.
We try.
And I think it's a worthy cause. We need to help you out if we can.
Appreciate it.
No other comments or questions from council? Okay. I would like to make a motion that we approve item 6A, Mojave County Continuum Services Department fee waiver request.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, ladies.
Thank you very much. We look forward to continuing to work with you guys.
Item number 7, department reports. We have none for tonight. Item number 8, announcements by mayor, council members, and city manager. Manager Walsh.
Thank you, Mayor. Happy to announce that our Citizens Academy is underway. We had our first meeting last Wednesday, and we have one coming up this week. So those will be each week for the 7 weeks of the session, and then we'll graduate them at that council meeting in November. Or November, yes. Thank you. And then I also like to announce that our youth council is also Kingman Youth. I struggle with this. Kayak. Thank you. We'll just go with that. Kingman Youth Advisory Council, there it is. We had our first get together with them. We've had a good turnout on Monday night. Annie covered for me in my absence, but I had a good get to know you between them, and we'll continue with those meetings moving forward. But a lot of bright youth there interested in the community and happy to put in their best efforts. So thank you.
Thank you, Manager Walsh. Councilor Savage.
Yeah, sorry I couldn't make it for the parade Saturday. The Moose Lodge did their 4th annual golf tournament Saturday to raise money for the food bank. And it's just in time for the holidays, so I appreciate everyone that participated in that and took care of those people that need food. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Ward. Okay, thank you. Councilor Saley. Councilor Eric. Vice Mayor.
I wanted to say that I attended the parade with Councilor Smiley Ward and Councilor Staley, and wanted to thank Kingman Parks and Rec for our council wagon and getting that all together for us. And then I did attend the Andy Devine Awards where Jack accepted, and Councilor Savage and myself were there as well. So very grateful to have that award.
Councilors, thanks for attending, and of course, Jack, thank you, and I know Clerk Meredith was there too, so thanks for representing the city there at the Andy Awards held by the Chamber. I also was at the parade, and thanks to all those who were able to attend, and especially Councilor Saley, I appreciate you having your family there, and Vice Mayor. That was great. It's nice that we can do that. I want to thank the people of Kingman for turning out for that parade. That was our first parade where we actually had full use of our street improvements. And that was great. People could see the street improvements, people came down. And as Becky mentioned earlier, we're having great attendance at things that happen downtown. And so just want to thank the people of Kingman for supporting our downtown. Last night also, I was able to attend our Kingman Youth Council Advisory Commission. I didn't say it right. Kingman Area Youth Advisory Council, right?
Kingman Youth Advisory Council, or Kayak.
Kayak, okay. Anyway, great youth that we have there. We had 10 that were there last night. One was not able to make it, and there's still room for 4 more. We'd like to have about 15 youth participate. So obviously, if anybody here or viewing through the internet has a high school student that they'd like to recommend, please turn those applications into Clerk Meredith. And I think they're going to accomplish a lot of good here in our community, and I appreciate that. I did want to mention one thing coming up, October 8th, next week. Next Tuesday, we have our first town hall work session meeting that will be held over at the Board of Supervisors auditorium. And of course, that will be held at 5:30. So I want to remind everybody about that. And then, of course, coming up next week too, this will happen before our next city council meeting, is the Route 66 Fest. Manager Walsh, do you have anything to add about that? I know Josh is out here, because I'd pick on him if he was, or Bennett is. Bennett, I see you're waving your head. Anyway, just want to remind everybody that will be held at Lewis Kingman Park. Great improvements are going on at that park, and there's more to come with that. But our Route 66 Fest is a great thing, recognizing that we are the heart of Route 66. And not just our downtown area, which I love, it's great, but all of Kingman, we are part of Route 66, so I appreciate that. I don't have any other things to announce, but once again, I appreciate all those who participate in our community and serve our fellow men. Any things, item number 9, council requests for future reports and updates. Nothing tonight? Okay, on that note, we are adjourned. Thanks again for being here.